Superman 2025. I just saw the movie for the second time yesterday, and in my initial reaction, I rated the movie an 8 out of 10. And in this video, I would like to elaborate more on that, how I reached that conclusion. And I would like to chapter this part of the video in 4 parts: the pros, the cons, the extended cut, the best scenes, and the best shot. So, okay, let's just say it's 5 chapters. Starting with the main cast. David Corenswet, Rahel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult. In short, everyone did a fantastic job, but let's go into more detail. David Corenswet is the Superman of hope. He represents this hope in every scene that he portrays Superman. Whether it's in the beginning of the movie, in the middle of the beginning, or the end of the movie, whenever he's on screen, he is the symbol of hope. As Henry Cavill's Superman put it in Man of Steel, it's not an S. On my homeworld, it means hope. And this Superman shows it all the way. Of course, comparing Henry Cavill's Superman with David Corenswet's Superman, or Zack Snyder's Superman with James Gunn's Superman, is a complete moot point, because it's 2 different visions. It's 2 different representations of one character. One was the vision of Zack Snyder, the other one is the version of James Gunn. Both versions are great in their own respect. So talking about which one was better is pointless. I have to admit, I was reserved for a new Superman because I was a Henry Cavill fan. I enjoyed those movies, as I alluded in the previous chapter of the video, that I like my Superman to be more gritty, or at least I thought so until now. And I'm very much looking forward to David Corenswet's Superman in the years to come. So he did absolutely great. Rahel Brosnahan as the intrepid reporter Lois Lane, fantastic. She is intelligent, she is inquisitive, she reaches her own conclusions, and Rahel Brosnahan was cast perfectly. And again, comparing her Lois Lane to Amy Adams' Lois Lane, or maybe Erica Durance's Lois Lane on Smallville, it doesn't matter. It's a new version, a new actress, so there is going to be differences, of course. But she did it perfectly, and that's it. And then we have Nicholas Hoult, our new Lex Luthor. And wow, that was a performance. And he commanded the screen in every scene he was in, whether it was with the main cast or with somebody else in the cast. He was the center of attention in every scene he was in. And another thing that is great about this version of Superman, he is depowered, for lack of a better word. Of course he's not, but he's not the all-powerful being that he's being portrayed in the comics. Or maybe in Man of Steel, BVS, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. So we can relate more to this Superman, and we could believe that this Lex Luthor would be able to beat Superman. And as he said in the movie, brain over brawn, or like Kevin Spacey put it in Superman Returns, mind over muscle. So we could believe that this Lex Luthor would be able to beat Superman, even without the help of the engineer or the Hammer of Boravia or Ultraman in that sense. So all 3 main characters did an absolute fantastic job. And I already said it, this Superman is hopeful, and this is great for the future, because we have something to look forward to. And another great thing, so if you like animals at all, you will love this movie. It's Crypto. And he's a show stealer, a scene stealer, in basically almost every scene that he is in. He's a bit of a chaotic dog, but it's an amazing addition. And I think I don't have a dog, but I have a cat, so I still can relate to the emotion. And when the dog gets on your nerves or the cat gets on your nerves, so everybody who has an animal at home can relate to that, and that is absolutely great. So let's move over to the cons. There's only a few of them, and I would like to say that they didn't diminish my experience of the movie. Definitely not the second time around, because I was in a completely different mindset. Going in for the first time, I've obviously had my expectations, but having expectations going into a movie is always kind of bad. But still they were there, and having seen it for the second time, as I said, completely different expectations, completely different mindset, and I was able to enjoy the movie as it was supposed to, as I was supposed to from the beginning. Okay, so the cons. Too many characters. I believe most of you, at least in a part, can relate to that there were just too many characters, and the story should have maybe focused a little bit more on the main protagonists. But it was not the case. And speaking of too many characters, Justice Gang. I think, in my own opinion, they should have been left out of the movie, maybe for a second film or a third film, depending on the story, of course. They weren't necessary for the first movie of Superman, because it was more a gang movie, a gang movie, sorry, than a Superman movie. And I think that was a little bit too much. And the third thing, maybe I think the worst thing that I can say about the movie, is the generic Eastern European dictator politician. Yeah, it was I didn't appreciate it, I'm sorry. And yeah, but again, seeing it for the second time, I already knew what's coming, so it didn't taint my experience, especially seeing it in IMAX with the biggest screen available. The movie still was great. Okay, so we've done the pros, we've done the cons. So let's go into the extended cast. And there were a lot of them. So let's start with the engineer, Maria Gabriela de Faria. And I couldn't relate to the character of the engineer. I'm not reading any comics, so there's nothing that I could relate to, and her story didn't catch me at all. Okay, she gave up her humanity to be on the hunt for meta-humans, but in essence she became a meta-human, so a little bit weird. And then we have Sara Sampaio, who portrayed Eve Teschmacher. And from the original movie, from Superman the movie, we knew that Eve Teschmacher was kind of a ditzy blonde. She was just for Lex's fun, but no serious character behind that. But in this movie, she had great character development with a huge plot twist in the third act of the movie. And that was absolutely fantastic to see, to be proven wrong. Having the anticipation that she's just a minor, sorry for the word, stupid character, but turned out to be something completely different, was great character development. Next is Skylar Gisondo, who played Jimmy Olsen in the movie. And I've never expected Jimmy Olsen to be a ladies' man. Normally he's just a friend of Clark's. He's doing the photos, but no serious plot lines revolve around him. So having him more in the center of the story with Eve Teschmacher was great. And again, he too had a character development. First, he was kind of he didn't want to get involved with Eve Teschmacher, but he had to, because he wanted the information that she had on Lex. And in the end, as she was able to provide the information that was needed to bring down Lex. I think he finally saw Eve for what she really is. Not the social media stupid blonde, but a very independent woman. And I hope, or I believe, that they will end up together. Maybe we will see that in a future movie, I don't know, whatever. Wendell Pierce as Perry White. He really didn't have much to do in the movie. He maybe had 2 or 3 speaking lines. So I really can't say anything about his performance. Same goes for Michaela Hoover, who portrayed Cat Grant. She too had very little scenes. So there's nothing much to say. And Mr. Terrific, Eddie Gathegi, I think I pronounced his name somewhat correctly. He was, of course, part of the Justice Gang, but he wasn't a comedic relief like Green Lantern, Nathan Fillion's character, but he was more the stoic person, as he said to Lois Lane. He's not into people's business or people's emotions business, so he was very serious. He was very tech-driven, but he had one of the best action scenes in the movie, and all in all, he was a great addition. Clark's parents in the movie, I'm sorry, I don't have those actors' names in my head, were of course portrayed very differently than in Smallville, but they were great, and especially Pa Kent had a very emotional scene with his son, explaining to him that it's not the parents who are responsible for what the child becomes, but the child itself. And that was a very, very powerful scene that made Clark even more relatable than he already was as Superman. With that being said and done, let's go to the best scene of the movie. And for me personally, it was the scene where Superman and Lois met at the apartment, when Superman is telling Lois that he's going to surrender himself to the DOJ because he wasn't able to find crypto on the planet anywhere, and by giving himself up, he may be imprisoned where crypto was, and so he will be able to find him. And Lois reacts with, he's just a dog. And Superman answers, yeah, and not a particularly good one, but he's alone and probably scared. And this sentence by Superman told us everything about his character and everything what he stands for and what we can hope for in the future. As I said, he's a hopeful Superman. He does everything so everything can benefit from it. Not himself, he even risks his own life to save the dog. And that is an absolutely amazing scene. Sadly, slightly undercut by humor in the background when the Justice Gang is fighting the intergalactic imp. So I would have wished that the situation would remain a little bit more serious than it was, but still it didn't take anything away from the situation and from the gravitas of the situation, right? And what are the best shots for me in the movie? The first one is when Superman emerges from the dust from the collapsing building. That was the money shot. Sadly, it's from very far away, so we can't see any details. But that is for me what represents Superman the best. And another shot or another scene is the fight against the Planet Watch, when he busts out his laser vision and just with ease gets rid of them. So that was an amazing shot. And another one is with Superman and Krypto sitting on the moon watching over our Earth. That was fantastic and was, I think, the last shot before the end credits. Prior to the end credits, however, there was a tease for next year's Supergirl movie, and Kara busts into the Fortress of Solitude from a drinking bender on another planet with a red sun. And in that scene, we we get to know that Krypto is her dog. And Superman was again alluding prior in the movie that Krypto is a foster situation. So we found out at the end that Krypto is Kara's dog. And that was the tease for Supergirl 2026. So what is my final verdict? I think 8 is a pretty safe bet. I wouldn't put it any higher, even though rewatchability is great. But 8 is a very solid result for the first movie in a series, hopefully. And I had a great time. The second viewing in IMAX was amazing. The audience was great. And I enjoyed it very, very much. And I bought a second cup. Do I have it here? I don't, sorry for that. I bought a second cup like this. This one remains in the package. The other one is a drinking cup. Again, here's another one. And of course, as always, I bought my Funko Pops. This is the 10-inch version. Here's another one with Clark flying to his Fortress of Solitude. Of course, we have our Lex Luthor. And finally, the MVP of the movie, like here on the screen right now, Krypto. So, if you enjoyed the movie the first time, and you've seen it a second time, why not go for a third time, enjoy it just as much, and yeah, have a good time seeing the movie. And that's it for now. So, up and away. Bye.